cause you're gorgeous, yeah. Wake up, it's time to get ready. Oh wow, it's time to get ready. Make love, it's time to get ready. Time to get ready, time to get ready. Whoa, wake up, it's time to get ready. Oh wow, it's time to get ready. Make love, it's time to get ready. Time to get ready, time to get ready. Whoa.
Yo, what's happening, people? It's your boy Jorge with another edition of the Off the Bench podcast. Y'all, Rollins he's out doing his fatherly duties, so I'm left all by myself. Solo dolo, reviewing WWE Summerslam, going match by match, giving you my thoughts on the whole show. But first things first, thank you so much to everyone that joined on the Instagram Live this past Friday for AEW Rampage. It was a great Instagram Live. We got a lot of people coming in the chat, chiming in about CM Punk's debut to AEW, what it means for the rest of the wrestling world, what it means for AEW, and just AEW as a whole, as a company, coming in and basically just taking the wrestling world by storm. They have the Forbidden Door, relationships with New Japan, Impact, soon to be ROH maybe. Who knows? But my lovely guest, special guest, CTEZ, lovely artist from Westchester, New York, been my boy for a few years now, and he came in, talked about his music video, which is out now, so go check out. Has on CTEZ Music on Instagram. RMF released his new video, RMF Studios that is, and I was a part of it. I had a really comedic role in it. It was a lot of fun shooting it, so check him out. And if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at OffTheBenchPod, all one word, no underscore, nothing like that, just to keep in touch with all our Instagram lives that we do, because we are very active on Instagram. We have a lot of Instagram lives where we're talking NFL, where we're talking wrestling, where we're talking baseball, NASCAR. Roland is he's very on top of that Instagram live stuff, man. Just so follow us there. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you go on our Instagram, Off the Bench Pod, you'll find a link tree. And even in the description in YouTube, you're going to find a link tree with all the links where you can find us, and on every platform you can. So subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell icon to get notified of whenever we post a video or go live. And follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you can listen to it while you work out, while you drive to work, whatever. Or if you're on the road, having a road trip, listen to us then. But let's get into it. SummerSlam 2021 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. So we started off with Big E and Baron Corbin. Pretty good match for the kickoff. Big E did what he had to do. He had to beat Baron Corbin. I know that the stipulation was more Corbin, if Corbin loses, whoever wins basically gets the Money in the Bank briefcase back. It was really weird because Corbin kind of stole it, but it's like, I thought when he initially stole it that he stole it because it's a Money in the Bank briefcase. So he thought there was legitimate money in a bank that he could cash in the briefcase. I don't know. It was anyway. Big E beat Baron Corbin, get his briefcase back, which is, it was a weird scenario, but the match in itself was good, in my opinion. And Big E gets this nice win in SummerSlam, despite it being in the kickoff show. But then again, there's really not much of a story you can tell. Good opening match for the kickoff. The actual SummerSlam match, SummerSlam show, started off with RK Bro defeating Styles and Almost to win the Raw Tag Team titles. Now, this story got a little weird in the past few weeks, but RK Bro got together this past Monday. They put their differences aside. Well, mostly Randy put his differences aside, and it was a really good match. It was just AJ Styles really working most, because you don't want to really expose almost his limitations in the ring that much, so you don't want to do all that and just show how green he is in certain parts of the ring. And AJ Styles is a really good worker. I think this team has a lot more to prove. There are definitely going to be a couple rematches down the line, but RK Bro win the tag team titles. They deserve to win the tag team titles because this is the best storyline that was going on Raw the past couple of weeks. So good for them. Great for Riddle. And great. Remember, Riddle was a little shaky. He was known he was being depicted as the pothead that got kicked out of UFC. So it's refreshing to see Faith being put in Matt Riddle and Randy Orton being the perfect guy to put under his wing and actually defend him and keep him going in the company. Next match after that, Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. This match was really weird because for weeks and weeks and weeks we've seen we saw some stuff with Lily the doll, and it was just, is Lily sentient, and there's some like voodoo stuff going on, and it was really, really weird. And then when fans came back and Doudrop had a match with Bliss, they cut to, and I think it was also shown live from fan reactions, that they just put Lily on the Titantron and then had her wink. And it was like complete CGI, but like it was just really weird. And Eva Marie starts this match with the doll and grabs the doll and starts beating the doll up, and it's just like, oh, okay, this is happening. I guess you're beating up the doll, and I think F4W Brian Alvarez on the Observer Live show, he made a good point where it's where it's Chucky. It's similar to Chucky the doll, where Chucky, I think it was Brian Alvarez, or if it was a Wrestle Talk, I forget who said it, but they made the analogy of Chucky the doll, where Chucky only pretends to be a toy when he's being observed, or he's not being a murderous sociopath, or to catch his victims by surprise, but it's not really it's just gonna not do anything. It was weird. This whole match was weird. I didn't like it too much. I wasn't really into it. I don't think the fans were into it that much. The feeling I get from fans being back is that they love the individual, but they don't love the characters that these individuals are playing. If you understand if you pick up what I'm putting down. After that, we had Damien Priest defeat Sheamus for the United States Championship. It's a double-edged sword for me on this one. Not gonna lie, because Damien Priest, I love Damien Priest. Of course, we need more Latino representation in the WWE. We're there's very void of that after the Mysterios. There's really not much else. The Andrade released Angel Garza. It's just a lot of names that were supposed to be the next face. But Damien Priest, he's got a good push. He's the United States champion. My fear now, and the match was really good. The match was good, in my opinion. I think that the match between him and Sheamus is a great worker in the ring. He's been at WWE for years now. Even before I had my hiatus back in 2011, where I stopped watching wrestling until WrestleMania 31. But I like Damien Priest in the ring. My fear is that now that he is the United States champion, this past week on Monday, they did tease that he might have a rivalry with The Miz and Morrison again, and they're teasing Miz and Morrison breaking up. But it's just, I hope he doesn't get mixed in with that lower mid-card area, and I don't want to see any more Priest-Morrison matches or Priest-Miz matches. Get someone else, get someone new to be in a rivalry with Damien Priest, and make the United States Championship mean something again. Back when John Cena had it, it felt like it was a big deal that people are challenging and wanting to get this title. And something happened later in the show where randomly, it was Shinsuke Nakamura came out, and he had just won the Intercontinental Championship, I think, a week ago. Not this past Friday, but he's Intercontinental Champion now. And I was distraught because I'm just thinking, like, Shinsuke Nakamura is one of the best wrestlers. He used to be one of my favorite wrestlers, now surpassed by Kenny Omega. But he used to be one of my favorite wrestlers in the world, and I love seeing him wrestle. And you don't even give him a match or nothing. And that's my thought process after this whole thing, because after this Damien Priest match, we had the Usos and Mysterio match. Okay, so this match, I think the result was good. Usos retaining against the Mysterios. The problem is that they showed that when they were showing highlights of the past few SmackDowns, I think it was, they said 3 weeks ago, and it was when Mysterio was fighting one of the Usos, and then he does a roll up, and Dominic comes in, puts his feet up to help Rey Mysterio get his pops, get enough elevation for the 3 count. Rey loves it. And then this past Friday, when they had I think it was a rematch, or it was against one of the other brothers, one of the other Usos. Dominic tried to do the same thing. He gets caught, he gets kicked out, and Rey got pissed. And it was just very weird as to why you would get upset, because you were okay with it before, but then you're not okay with it then, and then it cost them the match on Friday. And of course, this match it dragged, dude. I feel like this match was very slow paced. I don't think the fans were into it that much at all. And yeah, there was a lot of action in the Priest Sheamus. Obviously, the reaction of Priest winning a championship was really good, but it was weird. It was weird, dude. I got weird vibes. Like I sat down on my couch and I was thinking, should I do my laundry during this match? Because that's how bored I was. It was just working Rey. It was working Dominic and leading up to the hot tag for Rey, only for the Usos to take advantage and win in the end. I didn't like that match too much. I found it particularly boring, but that was nothing compared to this. Okay, this is where the podcast is going to take a dramatic left turn. As my face starting to fade away from Thanos for the YouTube viewers. Look, I believe Sasha had tested positive for COVID. That's the reports that Rollins had been getting from his sources, that Sasha Banks tested positive, so about a week ago, and so she can't compete or be anywhere near WWE for 10 days. They had a week to edit this. They had a week to change this up, but instead they promote all week for this past week. They promote it. It's Sasha versus Bianca, SummerSlam. Okay. Then SummerSlam comes. They show highlight reels. They show the hype video. Everything. The promo videos. Just everything. Bianca Belair comes out. She has her entrance. Everyone's cheering. Everyone's excited because everyone wants to see Sasha Banks. And then Greg Hamilton says Sasha Banks cannot compete, to a roar of boos. And then he says, instead, Bianca's opponent will be, and then you hear Carmella's music. Carmella come out, and first, I just want to say, poor Carmella. She comes out, fans are not happy. Fans are not happy at all. There was massive boos. I think I even heard people say bullshit. It was not a happy crowd. And you really, and it does suck. Bianca gets a mic. She starts doing a promo, just saying, hey, if you really want to, like, I came here to defend my title type of thing. Just, if you want to fight, well, let's go. Ref gets ready to ring the bell, and then what happens? Becky Lynch comes back. Massive pop. Not as big, I think, as the CM Punk pop, but she got a massive pop from the Vegas crowd in that Allegiant Stadium. She comes out, shoves Carmella, and says, why don't we have a match? You and me. Bianca says, sure, let's have a match. And then Bianca loses to Becky Lynch in 30 seconds. By 2 moves. Looking like a complete idiot. And it was I think at this point WWE started pumping in some crowd noise, because the facial expressions and the body language from the fans at Allegiant Stadium did not match the cheers that were played in the audio, because there was a lot of people with their hands up, shaking their head, just looking so weird, where it's just like jaw drop, like what happened? What? I hated every single thing about it. This is when I was on the phone with Roland, and I was saying, dude, I'm going to turn this off. I'm very close to turning this off because this is some BS. And Brian Alvarez said it best. It's classic WWE. They promote, they false advertise, and it's not that they didn't know, you know. It's not that they didn't know Sasha Banks wasn't going to be there. It's not like this is a random injury that just happened Friday or Saturday morning. They had a week to edit this. Brian Alvarez made a great point where he said they could have announced it this past Friday and said it's a mystery opponent and have Becky Lynch come out instead. I had the bright idea. If you were just gonna go ahead and do this and just false advertise, and then tell the fans, "Hey, Sasha Banks isn't coming the day of the exact minute that you're supposed to have this match," why waste Carmella's time? That's my thing. Is that, like, yeah, Carmella, she isn't the best worker in the ring. She's still a little green in some areas. She does this new character that they got for her. It's been more miss than hit. It's been meh, really. And it's just what I would have done is I would have, if you're gonna have Greg Hamilton just say, "Hey, Sasha Banks isn't coming. This is her next opponent," instead. Why not just get Becky Lynch out? Like, why do you have to? It's annoying because you're making the fans hate you, and then it's just, but it's WWE. They're gonna give us what they want, what we want. They're so smart. Vince McMahon is a smart businessman. He knows what to do. Why waste Carmella's time? You weren't gonna put her in this match anyway, and then you just embarrass her. And then what's worse is that Bianca Belair, who's been built up since WrestleMania this year, has been built up as the strong champion. You've been a minority champion, African American. It's just everything. His check. She's great. We love her. And to beat her in 30 seconds, and it's just, you could have had an instant classic, in my opinion, because WWE is all about their moments, and it was a great moment. It's a great moment. What a moment! Becky Lynch coming back and winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. Forget about the context. It's the moment. I would have have Becky Lynch come out instead of Carmella, get the massive pop, and have a 10 to 15 minute slugger knot, and just go ham, go crazy for 10 to 15 minutes, and have Bianca lose her championship because it's Becky Lynch. You know, if you want to give Becky Lynch a title, just give it to Becky Lynch, but have Bianca look strong. Because now what's going to happen is that Bianca looks like she cannot, she looks like an idiot, where she loses in 30 seconds to two moves, and they're probably just going to say something like, "I wasn't prepared for Becky Lynch. I was prepared to fight Sasha," and just some dumb thing that everyone with half a brain that apparently is a WWE fan now is like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, no. Have it come to the point where Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair go 10 to 15 minutes. Bianca looks strong, but just not strong yet. Not strong enough to beat Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch wins and gives her the whatever move. I don't even know, the rock bottom variation that she started using. And people forget that Becky Lynch, right before she announced she was pregnant, she was on this run and she was very cocky. Even before the pandemic, she was a very cocky champion, and it wasn't a heel turn, but it was the first steps of a heel turn. She was very cocky, very like, I can beat whoever the hell you put in front of me, blah blah blah. Which is, it's one thing is confidence, another thing is just being a total cocky jerk about it. And that's where Becky was looking like. And when she gave the title to Asuka, then it's like, okay, yeah, go be a mom, all right. But I did not like this segment at all. It was awful. It was awful. And then immediately afterwards, they bring out the Olympic winners, the gold medalists, and they're like, "Hey, look, give them a round of applause, yay!" Just trying to get you to cheer, just to cheer, and just like, "Yeah, look at that, yeah, we did the right thing." And it's not like it's tough for WWE to do these kind of things. It's just there's so much. There's such a better way to do things, and you're doing things in the worst with the worst outcomes. And it's very obvious. And I know in our Friday Instagram live session, I mentioned to Tez that AEW had 4 weeks consecutive, basically a month of just consecutive Dynamite shows that did over 1 million. And the defense for WWE's falling rate is that, well, there's a lot of different ways to stream and watch the shows. Like people don't have cable as much anymore. More people watch it on Hulu or YouTube TV or things like that. And that's really the defense that he gave, where it's like, yeah, this is the dwindling, this is the reason the dwindling numbers are. But we didn't have time to go really into it because that would have been a huge discussion. My point of view is that you're still losing viewers. There's a lot more ways to watch, but you're still losing viewers. Versus AEW is gaining viewers and has maintained a threshold of around 1 million viewers. And they have the same things where they have the TNT app. They're on TNT. They're on TNT basically. It's on Sling. It's on Fubo. It's on whatever other channels, other streaming platforms that have cable, YouTube TV, Hulu. So there's really no excuse for WWE as to why, in my opinion, there's no excuse for why WWE's ratings dwindle and AEW's continue to rise. And I think this is just... Someone on Inside the Ropes tweeted, I'm excited for SmackDown because they want to see how this plays out. I don't want to watch SmackDown now. Because the utter disrespect... This is the whole Kofi Kingston situation again. If you remember when SmackDown debuted on Fox, it was supposed to be this big match, Kofi versus Brock Lesnar, David versus Goliath type of thing. And Kofi lost, and he got his ass beat. And it was just an embarrassment where the past year of Kofi Mania, where we were all behind Kofi Kingston, WWE just looks at you and says, oh, Brock Lesnar, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want. And this is another situation like, oh, Becky wins, lol. Becky wins, lol. Ha, okay. And it's just, I don't know. The next segment we had Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. This is really funny because Drew McIntyre was... during interviews leading up to SummerSlam, he said that like he's been friends with Jinder for years. He's really excited to go in and work with him, and he wants to show the WWE universe and the rest of the world what a good worker and how good Jinder really is in the ring. And Drew McIntyre beats him in 2 minutes. Just okay, moving on. The triple threat for the Raw Women's title match. Triple threat for the Raw Women's title. There we go. That match. This had a few moments. Obviously, Charlotte winning may have... It's a little weird, but they really never... Once Nikki Ash cashed in, they really didn't know what to do with her, which begs the question of just why give her the title anyway. But her and Rhea Ripley... This whole feud was really weird because it was Nikki Ash always losing, but her thing was, oh, I'm just happy that I got the opportunity and things like that. Like, you're the women's champion. Like, I know she's almost a superhero. That's her gimmick, but by winning the Raw Women's Championship, one would assume that you have already become a superhero now. Because now you're being looked up to. Like, it's not like you manage your first conquest, your first obstacle. That's to win the Women's Championship, and it's just very weird. And then Charlotte beat her, Rhea beat her, but Nikki was always there, like, yeah, okay, I'm just glad I have this opportunity, and blah blah blah. But Charlotte wins. It's Charlotte. I mean, it's Charlotte, the Omni Flare. I don't know who could possibly challenge her now. It's tough because outside of those three, I mean, who are you going to put out there? Nia Jax? Shayna Baszler? Asuka hasn't done jack. Tamina and Natalya are still a team for whatever reason. I don't know, we're probably going to see a variation of these three women in a match for the next pay-per-view. Who knows? Edge versus Rollins. This was match of the night for me. Great match between these two guys. Edge really came out with the Brood entrance, glasses and all, fire. It was great. It was great. That was great to see. And Rollins, it was a good match, I think. Rollins used the pedigree, and it was a really good showing from both. I enjoyed the match. I think this was one of the best matches of the card. And of course, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, and Twitter found out from the fans in attendance that the screens that they have typically for replay, I believe, for the Raiders games, they had Goldberg's name, but because they were showing Goldberg's entrance, it only spelled Gorg. So that was a really funny thing, funny mess up that happened. But Bobby Lashley retaining against Goldberg. It was an okay match. I love that Lashley just put Goldberg's son, in the full Nelson, only for him to wake up and like nothing happened like a couple minutes later after they leave. Decent match, but nothing. I don't know what else you can do with Bobby Lashley. Haven't really built up any legit contenders on Raw for his title, so we'll see what happens on Monday, but I don't know. And lastly, Roman Reigns versus John Cena. I thought John Cena was gonna do a lot better. It looked like he almost just cashed in. He was being very goofy. It didn't look like he took this match a little too seriously. I thought this whole thing would go center around John wanting to break Ric Flair's record, and Roman being the head of the table and getting John Cena to acknowledge him. But great match between these two guys. Besides that, great match between them, and Roman wins, of course. But what happened after the match is what everyone's talking about to cap off the show. And that's Brock Lesnar coming back and facing off against Roman Reigns. Gave Cena some German suplexes, and I guess just to write him off TV, because I don't know if he's finished filming Peacemaker for HBO Max, but he has to go out and promote it because the Suicide Squad is still out in theaters. So we'll see what happens with John Cena later down the road, but this is a decent. There's an opportunity for a great story here, and Roman Reigns' rivalries typically have had a good build. So we have the obvious Paul Heyman. Who's he going to side with? Is he going to stick with his new client, Roman Reigns, or is he going to go back to his ex and Brock Lesnar? Maybe a few teases of a heel turn or face turn or whatever, because Brock Lesnar's a face now. And Brock he's decent on the mic. People forget that before Heyman, he was okay on the mic. But he's more of a dominant dude, and it's just I'm excited for the Brock Lesnar thing, and it's just let's figure out how this let's see how they play it out. Outside of that, that's my review for SummerSlam. I thought it was just an okay show. I didn't think it was. Here's the issue: is that WWE were going off about how they wanted SummerSlam to be this year's WrestleMania. They wanted it to be bigger than WrestleMania. They were hyping it up. This was nothing compared to a WrestleMania type of show. This was an average at best show. If I have to give you a ratings out of 5 stars, I'd give it a 2.5. No, that's a rookie score. 2.2 out of 5 stars. 2.2. Giving you a Dave Portnoy rating. Just because everything, the last few matches on the card were pretty good to go home on. Brock Lesnar return, Reigns defending, Lashley defending, or retaining, that is. They were good to go home, but I feel like the majority of SummerSlam was just boring. And it didn't really reel me in like I wanted SummerSlam to reel me in. I was bored by this show, to be quite honest with you. And then the frustration that came out of the Becky and Bianca thing, I got so frustrated where if I'm in the point where I'm going to turn off your show, I don't even want to watch your product. So I don't even, like, and a lot of people are just out there just like, oh, well, you have to see how it plays out on SmackDown, or you have to see how it plays out on Raw. Like, you have to intrigue me. You have to reel me in to watch those shows. Because the pay-per-views can't be set up for your weekly episodic episodes. The weekly episodic episodes are supposed to pay off at the pay-per-view. It doesn't work in reverse. And I don't want to have a SummerSlam, which is one of the big pay-per-views in WWE, to be, see what happens on Monday or Friday, and to see how this folds out. No, it's supposed to be, it's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. Those are the matches where it's like, those are the pay-per-views where it's like, this is where the rivalries either end. Most of them, it's where they end. Really, because they don't begin. They begin on the TV shows on Raw and SmackDown. But that's why I'm just like so confused. I don't know. That's why I give it a 2.2 out of 5, because it's just, what are you giving me? Why would I watch Raw? And especially with NFL coming back, and you're going to put out crap like this and expect me to watch you over Monday Night Football? You could have the two worst teams in the NFL play. You could have the 2-14 Jets from last year play against the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. The University of Alabama, Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. But you could have that, where it's the worst team in the NFL versus the best team in college football. And I'd rather watch that than WWE, whatever they're putting out now. It's just bad. It's bad. The ratings show it, and everyone hates to talk ratings, especially Tez, because he's my guest from Friday. He's just, well, there's different ways. No, like, there's your Monday Night Raw, your WWE, you should not have less than 2 million viewers. Your WWE SmackDown should not be hovering around the 2 million viewers. SmackDown, which was reported what Fox was getting, they thought they were getting a 4 million viewers type of deal. Similar to what they do with baseball when it's on Fox, where it does 3 million, 4 million, but not hovering at or below 2 million viewers, especially with Raw. And it's just the demographics from 18 to 49, they're losing that one. It's bad. And luckily for us wrestling fans, there is an alternative now. And it's being very clear. You're seeing it very clearly now that wrestling fans are now tuning into All Elite Wrestling. Despite, it seems like they're signing everyone. But when you really think about it, they're not. They're not signing everyone. They're signing specific people. CM Punk was signed because now they had 2 years to develop their product, and they are clearly a dominant force in the wrestling business. That they have a legit network backing them up. Where TNT, when they first heard the rumors of CM Punk signing with All Elite Wrestling, they pushed money into marketing. They pushed everything. They gave All Elite Wrestling the support they needed because they were expecting a massive boost. When TNT signed All Elite Wrestling, they expected a show to do around 500,000 viewers. They've been at 1 million for weeks. They have beaten WWE's NXT. They have dominated Wednesday nights. And even when they don't dominate Wednesday nights, the only times they do terribly is because the NBA takes priority in the TNT show, in the TNT network. So they move the show to a Friday or a Saturday, which is not their day. And everyone can be okay with that because it's not the typical day. Think about it when it's a job. You work Monday through Friday, right? You work Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 9 to 5, whatever your hours may be. If all of a sudden you have to switch in your Thursday shift with the Saturday shift, you're not going to be too willing to go that Saturday. You can be like, look, I'll do anything else, but don't put me on a Saturday. I don't want to go to work there. Same thing here. If that reference makes any sense or that analogy makes any sense. Where it's like, I don't want to watch on Saturday because I've got things I want to do. I specifically made sure that I can watch it on Wednesdays. And sure, like the NBA is on, a lot of people who watch TNT watch NBA. But it's just like, you could understand why the dip in ratings and viewership occurs when they're not on Wednesdays. And you look at Friday at AEW's Rampage show, their first episode, where Christian Cage and Kenny Omega had their championship match for the Impact World title. They did three-quarters of a million, like 775,000. That's a pretty good number. And I don't know if TNT expect the same 500,000 ratio because of the success of AEW recently, but it's a good start for them. They're on a great track. They signed an extra year extension, so I believe they're signed with TNT until 2023. Better believe next year it's gonna renew for another couple of years, and if not TNT, you're gonna hear different networks try to come in. Even ESPN. Even ESPN might come in. And it's just WWE, it's not the best time to give out mediocre or below average shows like this. Not the best time to do this right now. They're in denial. They're going to say, no, we are good. We are excellent. People still love us. They will buy tickets no matter what we put on, even if the Fiend wins in a disqualification or a no contest, or loses in a no contest against Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. You are a filthy, stupid mark, and you are going to buy our tickets. You are going to watch your shows no matter what we do, because you're a mark and you're an idiot and we own you. People are getting wise to your act, and they might just go to the other show from now on. But that's it for the Off the Bench podcast. This episode. I don't think we had a sponsor today. Oh well. Anyway, that's it for me. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Off the Bench Pod for our Instagram live episodes. Thank you for listening or watching on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure you follow us on all those platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can get our numbers up. We really appreciate any support. Please just share it with your friends. Listen to it on the podcast. Talk about it with your coworkers. And hey, you never know. Maybe All Out. No, I doubt All Out will stoop to these levels of SummerSlam. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great show. Thank you guys so much. Take care and goodbye.